Hey YouTube, RP, welcome to my channel. A lot of progress has been made. Body is glued, dome, more pieces have been finished. I want to take you through the process of what I did to get the body together and how I worked on some additional pieces with the rub and buff and the blue. So stay tuned, I'm going to have some great stuff to show you. Let's jump into it. Okay, I'm starting to glue the body together, and I'm just using the CA glue and accelerator. And it's not that hard, but you do have to make sure that you are getting this in the right location. And so what I'm going to do is dry fit this, which looks pretty good there. And then there's a little lip. You can't see that, but there's a little lip right here. And I'm just going to pencil off where this piece comes, because there's about maybe a 1/4 of an inch left over that's not going to get glue right now. So now I know exactly where all of that glue is going to go. Right here there's a line, and everything on this side of the line is going to receive glue. So yeah, let me put on my broken glasses and let's try fit this one more time. So I'm going to spray accelerator on this side and this underside. So that's got accelerator on it. And then I'm simply just going to apply the glue right here. Now there's not a lot of working time with this glue, so you have to kind of be on point. It's not hard, you just need to pay attention to what's going on. Okay, I've got my glue on there, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but we're going to go for it. Ooh. Yeah, it sets up fast. And voila, that's in. So clearly I'm going to have to go in and fill in these lines, sand this down a little bit to get everything looking the way it needs to. Everything for the most part fit really well. This back panel, this will be removable. So this panel is actually going to be glued in. And so everything fits like so. I'm going to wait to glue this in so that I can figure out how to get this panel out a little easier. So for now, they're taped. Everything else is glued. The data port fits in perfect, but this is the moment of truth. This is the top ring. This goes up inside here. If I didn't get this right, this isn't going to fit because it's not completely circle. This is a perfect circle. let's see how well my printers printed all of these parts. I was on 2 different printers, and technically you should only print on the same printer. If you print on 2 different printers, you run the risk of having them not be exactly calibrated, and the pieces could be off. So here we go. So there's a little, I don't know if you can see it, this little notch here and this little notch here. Those are going to fit right around the data port. So let's see if this works. Moment of truth. It fits. It fits beautifully. Look at that. So, yeah, that's amazing. I'm happy about that. So there we go. I need to now move on to filling, sanding. I'm going to do some plastic welding on the inside along these seams so that it's even stronger. But there we go. R2, he is coming along. I thought I'd show you what I mean by plastic welding if you're not familiar with that. Here's a glued seam. To reinforce this and make it stronger, I'm going to take an old soldering iron. And you don't want to use a soldering iron that you use for soldering because this is going to ruin your soldering iron. And you want to bring it up to temperature. If I don't wobble all over the place here. Here, I'm going to put something underneath this to stabilize it. There we go. On that side and on this side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the soldering iron over the seam to make a divot, and then I'm going to fold the excess plastic on top of itself and then smooth it out. So just like this. Let me make sure we've got support. Oops, sorry. Make sure we've got support down there. Okay, there's the hole. And you can see this excess plastic. I'm just going to pick that up, move that over, and smooth that out. And that's it. Now I have a plastic weld that's going to be very durable. So I'm going to go along this whole edge, and then anywhere else I've got a seam, I'm going to do the same thing. So when you download the R2 files to print, it comes with everything that's documented in terms of instructions on how to put it together. So if you're wondering, how do you know how to put this stuff together? Well, it's quite simple. You just print the version that you're going to use. I'm using the Mark III body. So you then come to the body instructions, and if you double click on that, then here you see all of the documented instructions, how to put them together, what they're called, where they end up going, how to install the different body pieces, the different lugs, bolts, screws that will be needed, how to print them and position them on your printer, how to build out the door hinges. It's all here. So if you're wondering, what does this all mean and how do you make sense of it? Everything is in here. It's very detailed on how to put it together. So I just thought I would walk you through that so you at least know what you're getting with these free files. You get a set of instructions as well. I'm working on a couple of the rings for the dome, and I wanted to explain to you how I'm going to prepare these for the blue metallic paint as well as the silver rub and buff. Right now, this ring has just been glued and plastic welded together. This is sanded down completely smooth, and I have all of the seams. There's a seam actually right here, but you can't see it because everything has been filled and sanded, and this is primed, and you can see that this is really smooth. This is now ready for the next stage, and what that next stage is a light sanding to get it ready for the aluminum metallic spray paint. And I hope I've got enough of this left because it's getting low. Yeah, here we go. It's right in front of me. So this is just a fine sandpaper, and I'm just gonna knock down the edges a little bit, just smooth this out. Nothing too crazy. You can feel there's just a little bit of just a couple of little rough marks. Could be from overspray, could be from dust. No big deal. But just knocking that down, and I'm literally just hitting it lightly. There's nothing that's taking the primer off or anything like that. This is a sandable filler primer, and it works fantastic in filling any of the imperfections, covering up the wood filler, and it just works really well. So once you get this nice and smooth, I wish you could see this and feel this. This is almost has a very glossy, smooth finish to it. Once you sand this down, it really is nice. So again, this is, you can see that right there. See how that's really shiny? It's just got a nice finish. And the more that you work on this to get this finish smooth, the better it's going to take with the paint, and the better it's going to take to the rub and buff. So let me get my air going so that I can blow this clean, and then we'll take it outside and do some painting. I'm going to do some light coats of this metallic aluminum. And the wind is blowing a little bit. There's some dust bunnies on there, but it's no big deal, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down with some like 1000 grit sandpaper. And what that's going to do is provide an extremely fine finish for the silver rub and buff. I'll just get the top here. You can see a little bit of dust right there. That is not going to be a problem. That is going to be sanded down, and it's going to come right off. Okay. Look at that shine. That looks awesome. We are going to do a little bit of sanding on this metallic aluminum paint, and you can see the finish on this is really nice, but I want to apply this Rub and Buff, which is a wax-based product, and it takes very little of this product. It goes a long way. So let's get right into this. I'm just gonna knock down the edges a little bit, smooth this out, just to give it a really nice foundation for the Rub and Buff. So we'll just keep at this and then show you what it looks like when it's done. Now I'm just gonna wipe any of the kind of paint or dust from that sanding process. Just wipe it off with a paper towel, just gently. There you have it. You can see, you know, a little bit of sanding, but this just looks amazing. Now, what we're going to do is take a microfiber towel that I have used before with the Rub and Buff, and we are just simply going to apply the Rub and Buff, and it takes a lot of pressure. So the trick to this is applying the right amount of pressure and very little of the product. And when I say very little, like that is gonna go a really long way. Just put the cap on here. Since this is wax based, what you're basically doing is rubbing this into the paint. And then I'm gonna put one on my leg so I don't get this all over my clothes, because this will make a mess. So here we go. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start on section 1. So these are labeled 1 through 7. And we'll just start on section 1 here and work this into the product. Good amount of pressure. Good amount of pressure. And then just buff that in until you don't feel any more resistance. And you have, it has completely polished that area right here. You can see this does not have Rub and Buff. That does have Rub and Buff. Look at the shine. Look, you can see the paint cans. No Rub and Buff, paint can's gone. Rub and Buff. This stuff's amazing. I'm just gonna keep going, then I'll show you what it looks like after we're all done. And there you have it. Your 3D print now looks like aluminum. It turns out so amazingly well. Again, you can see the paint cans back there. Nice reflection. I mean, look at the light on that. It's amazing. But yeah, same thing with this ring. I'm gonna take some 320 sandpaper and just smooth down that primer. Side, nice and smooth. We'll blow this off and get it ready for paint. Duplicolor Perfect Match, Sonic Blue Pearl. Light coats, very light coats. 10 minutes between each coat. There we go. All right, been 10 minutes. Coat number 2. Third coat, and I'm gonna go light on this one because this is looking pretty good. Then we'll let that dry for about 30 minutes. So I ended up finding enough left in this can to cover. I did not want to risk using the Rustoleum on the Duplicolor, having not tested it. It's just not a wise thing to do. So I found enough in there. It's now clear coated. It looks great. And there it is. There is the ring that we did the rub and buff on. There is the ring above it with the blue. And there's the dome. And it is looking phenomenal. That has just turned out so nice. I'm getting better with the rub and buff. I should have spent a little bit more time on the dome to get it as smooth. And if it bugs me enough, yeah, maybe I will do that, but that's a lot of work. But boy, that turned out so nice. I'm really happy with that. And there we are with the little guy sitting on his body. Midsection right here is not yet glued because I have to finish these arms and get them all painted because they get installed in here. And once they're installed, I can't take them back out to paint them. So I'll need to get that all done first. And then I'll need to start working on sanding and filling and sanding any joint that we have together there. So, but this is looking amazing. So hopefully this was helpful. And if you got any questions, just comment below, reach out, let me know. I'd be happy to talk to you about any questions that you might have.